Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr. H's Hot Pot. You join me today in a very breezy Blackpool at the foot of Blackpool Tower. There we go, as a tram goes past. There's Blackpool Tower, looming large over me. And I'm currently sat on a bench on the comedy carpet, which is the largest piece of artwork in Britain today, according to Wikipedia. And it was created in 2011 by the artist Gordon Young and commissioned by Blackpool Council. Now, this thing is absolutely huge. I've been here many times, and it features over 850 names from the world of comedy that have starred and appeared here in Blackpool, along with the catchphrases. And it is that big, as every time I come here, I always find something new. I haven't read everything yet. I'll try and put a bit of a screenshot in of a drone shot of the comedy carpet, and you'll see just how large it really is. Now, it was unveiled in October 2011 by the comedy legend Sir Ken Dodd, and many people came out that day to come and take a look at it and watch Ken Dodd unveil this piece of artwork. A year later, the Jimmy Savile scandal broke. Now, although Jimmy Savile's name does not appear on the comedy carpet, it would later come to light in the aftermath of all that with Operation U-Tree that there is an entertainer's name on here, and is still on here despite being convicted over 10 years ago of crimes against children. I'm going to have to be very careful with this video as I don't want it to get demonetized, so I'm basically just going to have to allude to certain things. But we all know the name Rolf Harris. He was born in Australia, he came over here and he slowly became a legend and an household name at the time. However, he was hiding a very dark secret. I'll put a list up now for you of his crimes, as I don't want to name them, and I don't really want to keep talking about his crimes. That's not what this video is about, Hot Potters. This video is about the fact that Blackpool is still honouring someone who was a convicted child predator. So I'll put his list of crimes up and convictions for you now. And as I'm sure you'll agree, crimes of that nature, no one should tolerate them. You should get no second chances. Once you've crossed that line, that should be it. You should basically be airbrushed out of history. Now, it's very easy to find Rolf Harris's name on the comedy carpet today, simply because it works in a clockwise fashion and all the names are in alphabetical order. So without further ado, I'll now get up off this bit of a damp bench and we'll take a look at where Rolf Harris's name is still featured and honoured on the comedy carpet, shall we? So, Hot Potters, here's some of the catchphrases from the people who have appeared here at Blackpool down the years. Here's some from Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise, and many of these you will recognise when you read them, others not so. But Rolf Harris's name is over in this corner that I'm now making my way to, just over here. And it's just beyond this bench here. And it blows my mind as to why Blackpool have continued to leave it here. Bearing in mind that in 2015, the Palace, one of the highest offices in the land, stripped Rolf Harris of his CBE. They didn't want anything to do with him. And here we are, as we make our way up. There, sadly, sandwiched between Kathleen Harrison and Keith Harrison Orville, is Rolf Harris's name like a stain on the comedy carpet. But why is his name still here? Because there is a campaign currently online on change.org to remove Rolf Harris's name from this art installation and replace it with someone who's a little bit more worthy. But I'm sure you'll agree, it's amazing to see that his name is still here. I know that over in Scarborough, when the Jimmy Savile scandal broke, any mention of his name was quickly removed as the town wanted to dissociate itself from him. But it would seem that Blackpool, or Blackpool Council, I'm not going to say that the people of Blackpool want to be associated with his name, but certainly Blackpool Council still feel that he's worthy enough to be honoured in this way. Anyway, I'll whip the camera around now and we'll have a little bit of a talk as to why his name is still here. Like I say, 10 years on, 10 years plus from his conviction, which was in 2014. So what, Potters? According to form and an article that I've read in the Blackpool Gazette, which I'll put a link to in the description for you below, and you can go and read it for yourself, the reason that Rolf Harris's name still remains on the comedy carpet all these years later is to do with the original artist who created this piece of artwork, Mr. Gordon Young. Now, according to the article, Blackpool Council decided soon after Rolf Harris was convicted of his crimes back in 2014 to have a discussion with him as to whether to remove Rolf Harris's name or not. And the feedback that they got back from Gordon Young was that the comedy carpet was here to celebrate all the people from the world of entertainment who have appeared and starred at Blackpool. It has nothing to do with anything or cast any kind of judgment on any particular individual or the private life. And as such, that is why his name is still here today. Now, I personally find that a load of rubbish and a bit of a cop-out from Blackpool Council, because it's the equivalent of you or me owning our own home, wanting to make a bit of a change, build an extension, whatever it be, and having to seek permission of the original architect who designed the house. You just wouldn't do it, would you? You just go ahead and make the changes. And that's what I think Blackpool Council should do. They should overrule Gordon Young and just go ahead with it. Because, number one, there is someone out there who will be more deserving to be put on here. It's also an insult to all the entertainers who are on here that have led decent and honest lives. It's also an insult to the people of Blackpool to be associated with someone who is a child predator. As I'm sure many people come on here and are quite surprised when they see that Rolf Harris's name is still there. But what do you think? Do you think his name should be removed? Bearing in mind that even in his own native Australia, in Melbourne, there was a huge mural done that listed all the great entertainers of the century that had come out of Australia, and they actually painted him out. They've put somebody else there. So if all the people in Australia don't want to be associated with him, and the palace doesn't want to be associated with him, why should the people of Blackpool be associated with him? Anyway, Hot Potters, I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to make my way back to the old jalopy and head back to Wigan to edit up all this footage, ready for your edification as always. But I'm going to put a link into the description below at change.org so that you can sign the petition to get Rolf Harris's name removed from the comedy carpet if, like me, you believe that he's no longer worthy, due to the crimes that he committed, of having his name featured on it. Also, if you live in Blackpool and you're not happy with how your town's being represented, why not make your MP aware and your local councillors aware that come polling day, you won't be voting for them if this issue isn't addressed. And believe you me, despite saying that they don't want to go against the original artist's wishes, should their position of privilege be threatened, then I'm sure they'll change their minds. Anyway, that's it from me. Like I say, it's a bit of a serious subject, this one. If you do decide to leave a comment below, please be respectful. But for my part, I'm out of here. I'm going to make my way back to Wigan. So until the next time, from myself, Mr. H, it is bye-bye for now.